Thanks for watching Endgame Economics. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. It's completely free for you, and it helps us continue making more videos like this.
Volkswagen operates on the scale of a sovereign city-state. To understand its current crisis, you must first grasp the sheer physical footprint of its headquarters. The Wolfsburg complex covers 1,600 acres and employs 60,000 people. It is a self-contained ecosystem with its own dedicated power plant and its own professional football club. From this base, the company built a global portfolio through decades of acquisition. They gathered 9 distinct brands under one roof, ranging from high-volume makers like Skoda to luxury icons like Porsche, Audi, and Bentley. By 2024, Volkswagen was the world's second-largest automaker by sales. It stood as the industrial pillar of the European Union's economy and the primary symbol of German engineering. In the summer of 2026, that stability vanished. CEO Oliver Blume presented a management plan designed to dismantle the company's historical foundation. The proposal involves eliminating up to 100,000 jobs. On a global scale, that means letting go of 1 in 7 workers currently on the payroll. The plan also targets 4 domestic German factories for closure. These include sites that were recently paraded as the future of the brand's electric vehicle lineup. A domestic plant closure is a move Volkswagen has avoided for its entire 89-year history. Proposing 4 at once signals that the company is now fighting for its survival. For decades, China generated more profit for Volkswagen than Germany did. It was the engine that funded the rest of the empire. After entering the market in the 1980s, the Volkswagen Santana became a national status symbol, effectively teaching an entire generation of Chinese citizens how to drive. That dominance ended when consumer demand shifted toward high-tech electric vehicles. Agile local brands like BYD quickly replaced legacy manufacturers. Speed is the deciding factor. Chinese rivals refresh models every 3 years, with over-the-air software fixes, while Volkswagen remains tied to rigid 5-year mechanical cycles. The impact was immediate. Annual profits in China fell from $5 billion to essentially a rounding error. The market redefined what a car is. By prioritizing software over hardware, buyers made Volkswagen's century of internal combustion expertise a secondary concern. To bridge this tech gap, management created a dedicated in-house software division called Cariad. The goal was to build a single operating system to run every vehicle in the group's portfolio. That €12 billion investment resulted in cascading delays. Flagship electric models like the Porsche Macan were held back for a full year due to software instability. A structural mismatch in organizational DNA derailed the project. Processes designed over 80 years to stamp steel couldn't accommodate the rapid iteration required to write code. The company fell into the trap of project thinking, building isolated software for individual cars. Modern software requires product thinking, one unified base layer that feeds and updates multiple models simultaneously. Internal culture also created friction. Procurement rules and finance department budget vetoes stripped developers of the authority needed to make fast technical decisions. Cariad stalled because a legacy hardware giant's internal nervous system is built to avoid the exact risks that software development requires. As the losses in China and the software division mounted, executives concluded that closing factories was the only mathematical path to keeping the company solvent. However, management lacks the unilateral power to make those cuts. They are restricted by a German legal concept known as co-determination. Under this system, workers participate directly in corporate governance. Employee representatives occupy half the seats on the supervisory board. The state of Lower Saxony holds another 20%. Because local jobs mean local votes, the state consistently sides with the unions, blocking major restructuring. This has triggered an industrial war. Workers are using their institutional power to strike, refusing to pay for executive strategic failures with their livelihoods. The governance structure designed to ensure stability is now preventing the company from adapting to an existential threat. Despite these metrics, Volkswagen is not dead. It still holds the largest market share in Europe and produces millions of cars every year. Survival now depends on shrinking. To navigate the software and EV transition, the company must close domestic plants and cut thousands of positions, ending the era of the industrial colossus. The pillars that built the empire are now the anchors dragging it down. Methodical engineering and protective labor structures were strengths in the 20th century, but they have become obstacles in the 21st. Past excellence provides a reason to resist change. Volkswagen's crisis proves that when a market moves, no institution is too big to break.